Welcome to episode 3 of OC15 single player demo of Orb and Crown 15-minute videos. Okay, that is the end of the turn as far as the things that I'm going to do. I'm just going to scroll out using the middle mouse wheel and have a look at what's going on around the world. And I've moved Malkan stuff. I've done what I can with Angford and Angnord. It's only turn 1, so there's very little to actually be able to do. And that's all I'm going to at this stage. The 200 gold pieces for Malkan and for the Tribal League I'm going to store up, because for what I want to do I will be building up their elite units, which are more expensive. Okay, so let us end the turn at this point. Yes, I really do want to end this turn. And we have our first decision. Alright, so the Tribal League Warmongers. There are warmongers in the Batwanga Council. Batwanga is the capital of the Tribal League. They are a group of people motivated primarily by wealth, something you have, my king. Do you want to increase the rate of the Tribal League's mobilization through financial inducements, or trust in our diplomats? Alright, so if we have a look at the notes here, the notes basically are very simple for this one. If we spend 10 gold pieces per turn for 10 turns, they will, 100 gold pieces overall, they will affect the mobilization of the Tribal League by 1 to 3% per turn. Doesn't seem like much, but 1 to 3% per turn is also going to be not only increasing their mobilization, but also increasing their gold piece production. So it's really something up to you. Have a look at the map. You can see that the Tribal League is over here on the far southwestern corner. I said that I was going to use randomness for the decision making, so that's exactly what I'll do. I'll just flip over to a random number generator, I suppose, on the internet, and we'll get a yes or a no. Let's do that. So I'm using this thing called Wheel Decide. I use it for all sorts of stuff where I need a random outcome. So I just click on it here and it says that the answer is no. All right, clicking back to the game, and I will say no, I don't want to do that. Alright, I've got another decision here to raise the taxes or influence Angford. Now this is a decision for Angnord. Alright, let's go up to the map. That's Angford, the ones that are being influenced, and Angnord up here are the ones doing the influencing, potentially. Alright, so the Lord Chamberlain and the Lord Councillor have presented two ideas for your consideration. Firstly, raise taxes. The Lord Chamberlain says the Treasury is depleted and we need wealth immediately. If you raise taxes, the realm will gain an increased income, but the people will not be happy. The Lord Councillor says, we need the armies of your father, King Amist of Angford, to threaten the forces of the Dreadworm from the south. Send emissaries with gifts to sway the Castile nobles to our cause. Do you want to raise taxes or send emissaries to Angford? Alright, the notes say, strategic decisions, I'll only read this once because there's quite a few decisions that have this text in them. Strategic decisions come about through the efforts of advisors and various representatives to present the priorities that they want adopted. They are genuine in their desire to bring about your victory, but their ideas are not always the best for the time. You must appease one of the two representatives or risk losing the backing of the nobles and other powerful figures that surround you. Court politics. Alright, so the first one, raise taxes. This option will add 50 gold pieces to the treasury for 4 turns, so give us 200 gold pieces, and reduce national morale by 1,000 points. Not very much. Mobilize Angford. That option will mobilize Angford by 10 to 20% at the cost of 40 gold pieces for 2 turns. So obviously the mobilizing Angford's more expensive, and raising the taxes will get you more income, and what you decide to do is up to you. So I will flip back over and see what the option is this time. And it's yes. Okay, so I will say yes to raising the taxes. Increase taxes anger Angnaudians. Of course, no one likes taxes, especially more, except the government. Strangely enough. Okay, Princess Crystalis of Guildford joins Angnord. Excellent. Because she's got forces and she's got GPs. The Donsborough Militia mobilizers. So these are pretty weak units, but because they can mobilize quickly, they're on the scene before the nobles even. Emissary reports diplomatic success. Chinua has moved towards us, the Allies, by 12%. Very good. Chinua is one of those countries on the southern border of Golden Khanate. All right, so Ang Nord gets 110, plus it gets Ang Nord Trade, which is the red line that you can see, the convoy route there. Increased taxes and the arms smugglers for 242 gold pieces. Angford, only 18 gold pieces. Boy, it starts small for those guys. Ancients 172, Molkan 84, and Tribal League only 36 gold pieces. Okay, now let's see how the Dreadworm, etc. respond. Okay, so he's a bit of a coward, this dragon. He always take out the weaker units if he's got a choice, which can be used against him. If you have a major attack that's going to take place anywhere near that dragon, if you put one of those 5 pointers out there in front of him, chances are he'll take that out before he attacks the real units. All right, so not much really to be seen there. We lost a militia and the infantry unit that was left in Crow's Hole that was down to a very skeleton crew, and that's it. We lost a few places. The Viking raiders suffer attrition. They came across to join Draka in his attack on Ang Nord from the Viking lands. And they will go back to the Viking lands after he gets defeated. And I will defeat him, I promise. I hope. Okay, so now we have Ang Nord. I'm going to leave the fleet out here in the Viking Channel. I'm going to keep an eye on the mobilization of the Vikings though. So if you hover the mouse over any country, you will see down in the bottom left hand corner, and also in the in this part of the screen here, you'll see their current mobilization. So they are currently on 69%, so it's not really anything to worry about at this point. Okay, I'm going to move Hammond out of the way as quickly as possible. Going to move the infantry unit out of the way as quickly as possible, and the rest of the time is pretty much spent on building up the forces. I won't be putting anything into research at this stage. Build up Crystallis so that she can build up other units. But as I say, at this point, it is really just dumping as much of those gold pieces into the units that I have. Because it's raining, I won't do it yet, but I will be retreating this this unit holding Coreland at the moment. The Vikings will take that no matter what. There is a backstory to do with national pride, where this is considered, Coreland is considered to be a Viking city. It was taken from them by Guildford, and of course they want it back. Alright, moving down to Angford, and again just dumping whatever points I've got into the units that are there. They are still not mobilized, so they can't do any diplomacy or anything like that, and they're only on 24%. They would have gone up more if I had taken that other option of influencing them, but I didn't. The ancient lands, I said I was going to go on a defensive, I'll take on a defensive attitude with them, so I will. I'll just start moving some of these out of there because there's not much point in sticking around up there in the hills. Great for mining, but not so good for defending. So I'm going to move some of these down here, and this fleet, this ship I should say, I'm going to move it as well. Get it up to the main port. The main port is here in Melissus Harbour, and if I just press H to hide all the units, you can see that it's a 10-point port, and therefore it can build up ships to full strength, and 10 points or 12 or whatever it happens to be. The 5-point ports will only allow a ship to be rebuilt up to 8 strength. Okay, we have 172 points left, and it did actually work putting a bit of diplomacy in last time, so I'm going to try that again. With Sanai's already there, Chinois, I'm going to put 2 in. Like I said, I don't normally do this because the AI will be attacking Chinois at some point, so it's kind of redundant to try and influence them. But if I get good luck and influence them before the Golden Carnate actually attacks, then I'll be able to build them up a bit more and hold them off for longer, which can be quite important. Alright, going to continue to build their ship up, and I think that is about all I'm going to do with the Ancient at this stage. No, a little bit more into their leader. Right, Mulcahy, like I said, they're just getting ready to build up their elites. Elites cost 300, so they're not quite there yet. Next turn, they will be able to build or construct an elite unit. And the only reason that I want the elite units is so I can defend up here if Guatenheim does actually attack in this area from the west into the Eva Khan. Alright, so I'm going to build these guys up as well. I want to make sure that I've got somebody in these 2 forts here, Gamilla and Faisal, otherwise known as the Lovers. These fortresses need to have something in them to stop Transmorodonia on their western border from mobilizing quicker. They see that there's no defenders there and they think, now's a good time to attack, what do you reckon? And they say yes every time. Okay, I didn't move the fleets to the north, and I decided not to do that. I'll just continue to move these guys as quickly as I can to the north. Now the Tribal League I can see is on 236 gold pieces. I will go over here and start to move them towards the east. The reason that I want to do this is because even though I can in fact, once they mobilize, I can in fact influence all of these, go out, all of these potential allegiance, the 4 of them, Crowana, Mbaru, Xantu and Cardia, can all be influenced through diplomacy. However, it takes quite a long time. So depending on how I'm feeling, I will attack Xantu first, take them out, and then come down and attack Mbaru and take them out, get their gold pieces contributions from that, but I miss out on taking their units. So whether it's worth it or not, again, I'll leave up to you. And Cardia and Crowana, I use diplomacy to bring on board eventually. Okay, so that's all I actually intend to do for this turn. I'll just go out and have a bit of a look. And that is it. So the turns go by pretty quickly to start off with, but by the middle game, they are of course taking longer to get through. Alright, the nobles this time of Donsborough have mobilized. Much better units. Get 234 gold pieces. Angford has gone up a little bit, but still very, very paltry incomes at this stage. That's why you need to get allegiance on board. Watersbend has fallen. Inevitably, that is going to happen. And it doesn't seem there's going to be much else to see there, except an attack on Xander's Keep. That's pretty much impervious unless the Dreadworm decides to actually help out. Now what has happened here is because Watersbend has been captured, Watersbend has been captured, the Angnord moves its throne to Donsborough. Beegwulf, the elves of Beegwulf here are concerned at the capture of the Mithril Scepter, and so that they mobilize towards the allies. Maelstrom, the giants of Maelstrom, are incensed and become an ally, because a dragon having that powerful artifact is unthinkable to them. We have a few morale issues that happen because of the fall of Watersbend, including the Vikings being very impressed, because that would be their absolute dream, to take Watersbend. Right. The Dreadworm mocks Prince Amund. The commander of the King's Eyes, Lord Ullivon, speaks. My lord, our spies have been able to get close enough to the walls of Waterspend to report useful information. Many have given their lives for this information. I do not need to remind you, my liege. I will not describe the condition of our beloved city, but it is clear that the Dreadworm is fortifying his position there and shows no intention of advancing any further. As he speaks, the doors of the room are thrown open, and a scout enters, dishevelled and filthy. He looks haggard and terrified. "It caught me, my lords. It spoke to me in my head in a terrifying whisper. 'Tell him,' it said, 'that he can stay in Donsborough and live, or try to reclaim the title of heir and die. The choice is his.'" With that, the scout collapses, unconscious. Lord Ullivon looks at you with concern. "It's a challenge, my lord." So the Dreadworm has sent the message to the prince. You can come and get me and die, or stay in Donsborough. And that's 15 minutes, more than 15 minutes, so I'll see you next episode.